Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 2 and today we are starting things off outside my incredibly camouflaged little base. So this, for those of you who didn't see the end of the previous episode of Hermitcraft, this is my current place to stay, and by the look of things it might have been creepered a little bit, but here it is. So we're going to be doing some work inside this area. This genuinely is going to be my starter base, so you can look forward to seeing that. But also we're going to be starting work on some serious projects, hopefully getting our first shop on the server, and of course trying to progress our resources. Speaking of which, I think it's time for that hour-long mining session. I think for the first few episodes of Hermitcraft, we have got to do as many mining sessions as possible. Even though we currently have over a stack of diamonds, I want to do better than that. So you need to head down to the comment section and let me know how much redstone, how much lapis, how many diamonds, iron, coal, and gold you think I'm going to get during this 1 hour. And I will catch you once we return. Also, prize for the person that's closest. You guys know how that works now. So in today's time-lapse chat, I want to have a really quick talk to you guys about the Hermitcraft server and what the other hermits are doing. Because seriously, these guys are really cracking on with some amazing projects. Now, one thing that I want to say at the beginning is that I am well aware of the fact that the dungeons were increased in this season of Hermitcraft. So now when you generate a Minecraft world, you can actually go into like the preset zone, and Exhumavoid just grabbed the dungeon generation figure, and just cranked it up to the maximum, which means that there's a higher chance of a dungeon generating. Now, I knew this was a thing. I hadn't realised how common multiple dungeons were. So when I made my double dungeon, I was happy with that. I was like, I found a double dungeon, that's amazing. I hadn't realised that there were like 5 dungeon systems knocking around. Tango has got a 5 dungeon. And he's created an XP grinder out of it. And it's ridiculous. I was watching his video the other day and it is completely insane. So I think I'm going to have to kind of up my ante a little bit and maybe ditch the old XP grinder and create a new one with a few more dungeons involved, because that's bonkers. I totally hadn't realised that they were as common as they seem to be in this world right here. The next thing that I want to talk about is AFK fish farms, because pretty much every member of the server seems to be using some form of AFK fish farm at all times, okay? There's always at least one person AFK fishing, and I don't think I'm going to build one, at least not at the start of the world, simply because, I mean, I had an AFK fish farm towards like the middle of Hermitcraft Season 4, and that was awesome because it allowed me to get loads of enchanted books really easily. So I got like end game enchantments easily just by AFK fishing. However, at the start of a world where you don't really have anything, I personally quite like the challenge of finding these enchantments. Like, I'm gonna have to go out and get a villager to be able to get mending. That's like a challenge. And to me personally, there isn't too much challenge in making an AFK fish farm. For me, I am totally fine with the other hermits doing it. They can crack on, they can get all the enchanted books. It's a smart idea, those things are amazing. But I like starting a new world, and I like not having all of that crazy stuff and all of those crazy enchantments. So for the time being, I'm going to be staying away from the AFK fish farms, and I'm going to be trying my best to get everything manually. Basically, that's the plan anyway. That's my current plan at this point in time. Who knows, in like a week's time when everyone's rocking up in their awesome gear, I might reconsider things and kind of cave in just a little bit. Cave into peer pressure, essentially. But anyway, that's kind of my situation on Hermitcraft. Let's get back on there and continue playing. Well, that was rubbish. That was pretty terrible. We got 13 diamonds in the whole hour. Just 1 vein of diamonds. We got a handful of redstone. In fact, we have now 2 stacks, probably 3 stacks, maybe even 4 stacks of redstone blocks at this time, that's pretty awesome. We have a whole ton of coal, which we're going to be making use of in today's Hermitcraft episode. We also have about 3 stacks of iron, and just, yeah, we got a few bits. But nothing too exciting, really. So, yeah, I'm finding it hard to be too excited at this point in time. I'm a little bit disappointed by that one. But anyway, we have got some projects to work on. Okay, my plan was to start hunting some wither skeletons, right? Because I thought that would be a great plan. Because I kind of want to get a wither skull. But these guys are like serious. Do they always drop with the skull heads? Or have I got very lucky? I'm going to ask the Xisuma. Apparently not! Apparently the first wither skeleton that I have taken on has dropped a wither skull. Right, it's time to put this back in the base. Now I must admit, I don't think I quite appreciated just how lucky I was when I got that wither skull because, well, I have hunted down probably about 30 more of these guys, and I have not got one. Not a single one. I peaked about as early as you can possibly be. Let's see. No, nothing. Just kill his mate. Let's see what we can get here. No. Absolutely nothing. I should have been so much more excited than I actually was. To cut a long story short, I had to evacuate because I managed to injure a pigman. So I'm being very tentative. I don't know if these guys are suddenly going to get aggro at me, but for the time being, I'm going to take my one wither skull back. And I think we might revisit this later on in the episode. After a 1 hour mining session and a 1.5 hour wither hunting session and an unsuccessful enchanting session trying to get looting on my sword, I think it's about time that we actually place a block on the Hermitcraft server today. So we're going to start things off by creating a super mega smelter. Now I just want to point out that this is very much a temporary build. I have punch out space next to my little dirt hut right there, and I am building a horrendously ugly looking super smelter system. Now at this point in time you may notice that there is a fairly fundamental element missing, and that is the hoppers. I'm currently in the process of smelting up some iron, which could do with being a lot faster. I kind of need a super smelter to smelt up the iron required to build my super smelter. Wouldn't that be nice? I think in the next episode I'm actually going to start work on an iron farm because, I mean, to be honest, I might have underestimated quite how much iron this project is going to take. I don't think I'm going to have any left. The final hoppers are making their way in now. We've got all of these ones just going right the way across, and then we have our chest up at the top. So this chest here is for coal, this one is for the items, and this chest down at the bottom here is our output chest. So I suppose we should probably give it a test. Alright, I'm going to chuck in 20 coal into that one there, and we should see that it drops through. There we go, that should be pretty much everything. So that's all gone through into the system. Now we do have some cobblestone here, so maybe we should drop that through into the system as well, and just see if everything is being sorted out effectively. I mean, it's looking good. We've got a skip furnace, ladies and gentlemen. No! One skip furnace. How frustrating. I guess we remove that and kind of just leave it and ignore that happens. Which means that this furnace will now work extra hard. I think that's how it's going to have to work. Other than that, very evenly sorted. Nice. Everything has been covered up. We now have ourselves a completely new entrance into this place, and this should allow us to AFK down at the bottom, which is going to be very important because I plan on doing an awful lot of smelting in the next couple seconds. My first plan for my first shop on the Hermitcraft server is I want to create a glass shop, which means that we need to get a whole ton of sand and also a whole ton of coal to smelt up said sand. Oddly enough, we seem to have developed another skipped furnace, which I don't fully understand myself. I might have to come back to this one. Now the only thing is, the mining desert is around about 2,000 blocks away, maybe even 3,000 blocks away in total, which means that we have got a bit of a trek to go on, but hopefully we can use this in our favour and we can be the only person who's crazy enough to sell glass. I've managed to make it all the way over to the first desert, and I was not expecting to see signs of life. But by the look of things... Huh. Fair enough. And finally, after travelling 6,000 blocks in total, we have returned back to the base with a full inventory's worth of sand. So we're going to run over to the super smelter, and I want to see just how long it's going to take to smelt all of that. So that was quite a large quantity. Okay, I'm not 100% certain on the specifics. I have no clue how much that actually is. But all of this should start flooding into the furnaces any second now. We have some in here. Apparently this one's mostly filled with fish. Okay. I guess now we wait. Now I've just come up with a new redstone circuit that I think should hopefully help me out when it comes to actually using this thing, because basically there's like a slight little issue that I've recently discovered, and that is the fact that when this thing finishes putting the items into the hoppers, obviously it's finished putting them through, some of the items actually get locked in the hopper, which means that they never go into the furnace until you start putting new items in, which is bad. That's not particularly good. So I've had to add in a little bit of a redstone circuit out the back here, which is going to run it into this redstone torch over here, which basically checks to see if items are still flowing into the system, and if they aren't, then it will unlock all of the hoppers, allowing us to release all of the items from the hoppers and put them into the furnace. I hope that makes sense. I honestly don't know if that does make sense, but if we just power this little one, yeah, that should do it. And now all the items that are in all of our hoppers should just be flowing straight into the furnaces, and all of the furnaces should now be filled. I'm not 100% certain this is actually going to work, especially because I can't seem to move around the bottom area here. But nice. Yeah, that is looking good. Apart from this one. This one looks terrible. Oh, except we have ourselves a bit of an issue, and that is the fact that the hopper is taking the items out of the hopper way too fast for our poor little comparator to handle. Okay, so we've got to extend these out by 1 block. And this should now be a functioning system. So if you place in the sand, then that kicks it all into gear. And this is now working as a super smelter should. But then once all of those items stop going through, it will just dump all of them down into all of the furnaces. That's awesome. Okay, so that thing's functioning. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm gonna go to bed. It's getting quite late here, so I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to stand next to my auto smelter so that we go through all of that sand right there, and then I'll catch you tomorrow morning. I am trying so hard to come up with designs for my glass shop, and I just cannot do it. I really can't do it. Oh, I've been working on this for probably about an hour and a half, and this is all I've got. Why can't I be Grian or someone just smart? Okay, I think I have come up with something that I actually really like. I think this looks awesome. It looks seriously cool. So this is our current glass shop. This is the current design. I think maybe we could work on those pillars right there. But you know what? I think I'm actually just going to have the M on every single side. I really like that M. It does mean that we're going to need a lot of quartz though. So maybe for the time being, we'll build it out of a different block. And then eventually we'll convert over into the quartz. But yeah, this is looking really cool. Right. Let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server. We've got some constructing to do. And a whole ton of smelting to do as well. So hopefully this system is still going strong and actually functioning. That would be nice. So I've gone out and mined a whole bunch of dark oakwood planks, which is a block that I've never really used before. And I think it's a bit much. Would you say it's a little bit too much? Like, it's far too dark. I think I'm gonna stick with spruce wood. I thought I was gonna convert. I thought I was gonna convert over, but no, spruce wood's still the one for me. Just so you know, I'm currently spending so much time on these episodes that I'm recording this right now 4 hours before it's meant to be releasing. Normally I work 3 days in advance, but I've been committing a lot of time to creating videos lately. Okay, so the main structure itself has now all been constructed. So we have got all of the archways in. I'm just removing all of the crazy scaffolding that I constructed. I ran out of blocks, so I started using whatever I had in my inventory. But this is what it looks like, and the only criticism that I have at this point in time is height. It's completely dwarfed by builds like this one. So maybe at some point in the future, we'll need to add in some archways kind of going up and over the top. Create some kind of spire type thing. But I think for the time being, we're going to roll with it. And I'm going to fill this thing in with glass. And also, we're going to have to go out and get some nether quartz. Which, you guys know, I didn't have a great job. Didn't do the best of jobs in the nether earlier. So hopefully this time it goes a little bit better. First few pieces, and as per usual, it is very precarious. I can also hear one of those magma cream things, and I really don't want to get knocked off. That's quite a lot. Okay, so we probably have enough there for one of the M's. I'm very thankful for fortune at this point in time. Sorry guys, I've got a little bit distracted in the fact that I've ended up in the Nether Fortress again. And, well, I've killed probably about 9 or 10. Maybe even 15. Still nothing. I really need to get looting on my sword. That's definitely the way to go here. I'm being a bit silly doing this without that. And 1M. I've totally done that the wrong way. Alright, let's try that again. 1M. There it is. Okay, so that is that. Now, I must admit, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I have been playing way too much Minecraft today, so things are looking a tiny bit confusing. But I think once we knock out some blocks... yeah, that's going to be a really, really cool looking build. I think for the time being, I'm just going to have the 1M. But then in the next episode, we'll add in the other 3 M's and also do the top section. But now we have to get all of the glass and all of the dyes, which I'm seeing plenty of yellow and a tiny bit of red. Okay, we should be fine. So here we go. Final blocks are now going in place. Final glass panes are in. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I like this thing a lot. I seriously think this thing's really, really cool. I'm happy with it. It looks a little bit silly on the side, but once we get the other M's in place and then the roof, this thing is going to end up looking absolutely awesome. It seriously is. So we have ourselves our first shop on the Hermitcraft server. Currently, it is completely empty though, so maybe... yeah, I think maybe we should probably get ourselves a chest and then chuck in all of the glass that we currently have in the super smelter. Mumbo's glass, 2 diamonds per stack, colours coming soon. Boom. 1 full chest, so that is 1 full single chest of glass. Not bad. Not bad. I am really, really happy with how much we've managed to do in today's Hermitcraft episode. I mean, if you think about it, we did a 1 hour long mining session right at the very start. It was semi-successful, but, you know, there it is. We also did the massive wither hunting session, which was semi-successful on the first wither, and then the subsequent many withers wasn't quite so good. And then we built the super smelter, did some redesigning and everything like that. And then we did a whole bunch of other things that I can't remember, and then we built this thing. Yeah, that's pretty good going. That's pretty good going. I'm chuffed to bits, and I just want to say, I really am chuffed to bits with the response to these videos over the past couple weeks. In fact, these past 6 days have been some of the best days on my YouTube channel ever. Seriously, ever. In fact, they have been. They have definitely been, because in the past, well, I guess 3 or 4 days, I have gained over 20,000 subscribers. In 4 days. In 4 days, I have gained that many subscribers. And of course, that is partly thanks to the video that I did with Grian, which went down incredibly well. That was seriously awesome. So much fun to create. It took a long time to develop, but that went incredibly well. And I'm so proud of that. but also the new Hermitcraft release has just, it's blown my channel up. It's blown my channel up. So, to all of the new people who are currently watching this, I hope you're enjoying. I'm going to continue putting in tons of effort into these episodes, and I hope that you're looking forward to the next one. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that really is all I've got time for today. I only have 1 hour until this video is going to release, so I'm going to have to do some speed editing and rendering. But I guess I will catch you in the next one.